What's up, everyone? Welcome to Kansas Sports HQ. Your host, Dave Buche. How's everybody doing today? Sheldon Howell, Sean Cutler. What's up, guys?
We're excited. Hanging in there. We got our first special guest in the room.
Oh man, welcome. No camera added.
Yep, not on screen, but his voice is here. So everybody, he's gonna be in everybody's heads, saying little things here and there.
Little sweet nothings.
There it is.
Sweet nothings.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Bruno Ball. He's in the building. He's in the studio in the HQ. He's excited. Drew drove down from Kansas City because that's just how important this podcast has become to this community. That he wanted to get down here and just be a part of the beginning stages of what we're doing.
Rising fast.
Yeah, it's it's our own version of viral, so that's what matters. So things are good though. How was the morning? How'd everybody get up? And how was the snoozing of the alarms this morning?
A few less times this morning.
Okay, so making some progress.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's whatever. But it's nice. I actually got to bed about 45 minutes earlier than usual.
All
So
right, look at this guy. He's living.
we're cooking.
So
Feeling good today.
1:15?
No, 11:15 or
Nice.
11:30, whatever.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's good. Good. That on there. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Banks he's got school today. He's got to go to they got like big truck night or something like that today. So that's something that's happening later, which he'll have a blast at. So, but drop them off at school. So he's pretty pumped. But past that, excited. We're talking about producer Dave today.
Producer Dave.
Yes, he gets to tell the story of the long journey of the mini hats that he has on. Only one at the moment, but the mini hats that he has on behind the scenes. So pretty pumped.
Oh boy. That'll be fun. Sorry, I'm doing producer things right now as we're just trying to get things lined up and where they need to be. That didn't work. I just cut off Sean.
Oh, see you, Sean.
Bye, Sean.
It's all right.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah,
You got enough of me on the last one.
You're back in there now and all that good stuff. He's gone again.
I sent Dave posted that up on Spotify yesterday. I sent that to my family group chat. My mom listened to it. I think our first episode.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, well, that was fun. So who's the third guy?
What do you mean?
She didn't know who Dave was.
She's
definitely-
which means she is invested in, all of that good stuff.
So I was like, well, that's Dave.
Oh yeah.
They've met you. I mean, it was very, very quick, but they met you.
briefly.
Yeah.
Hey, she might have been our first listener. That might be our,
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I
we
did
put
get
that
some
on the
text
fridge.
messages because
Success.
I added a bunch of people to our I guess socials and stuff like that. So
We did. I did do a bunch of posting on the TikTok yesterday. So if you're on TikTok,
I don't know if I'm following that actually.
Yeah, so make sure you guys are on there. Check that out. Share that.
Well,
We're
of
probably going to
course.
do some Instagram today.
Oh, so you didn't do anything on Instagram or?
No, I just posted them on
Oh.
TikTok yesterday. So I need to take them from that, put them over to Instagram today. And then, I don't know. I mean, Facebook too, probably, I
mean,
guess.
we're pretty new, so you have to go through the verification process and
Oh, yeah,
all
we got
that
kicked
good
out of
stuff.
our email. That
Yeah,
was
yesterday was
ridiculous.
fun, and then file a appeal.
Well,
At least they reviewed it within 24 hours instead of the 48 that they said so. But all right, guys, I have everything set up how we need it for today. I can't really ask myself.
What are you going to
my own
ask
question.
yourself the first question? What
You
is
know.
it?
Why are you the producer, Dave? Like what on earth made you want to figure this out? And just cuz.
Yeah.
I guess.
There you go.
Happens. I don't know. But the floor is yours, guys.
actually, the floor is yours. First question: where were you born?
I was born in Ohio.
See, that's
I was
interesting.
I was born in
You're
Ohio.
still the only foreigner.
That,
He's been here his whole life.
I did move here when I was 5. My parents,
That's a significant portion.
yeah,
People having 5-year anniversaries, so I think that's
my parents were relocated here for a tech company that moved their world headquarters here. Actually bounced back and forth a couple times, and then we called Wichita, Kansas home after 5 years of that.
Yeah, see, so he's been here
So-
forever. He's a Kansan.
How did you meet Sheldon, and how did you start?
So I met Sheldon at the first facility, Wichita Sports Academy. I played slow pitch softball for a while. and he was around. One of his coaches was on the team, so he was like, "Hey, let's go hit on a Friday night." And a couple times I saw Sheldon, and then I finally brought some beers, and he decided to come hit with us, and then I invited him to play on the team as well, and boom, here we are.
So if you want Sheldon to do
Oh,
something,
here we go.
bring him beers.
Yeah, here we go.
That was back before Fam Bam and all that
You
stuff.
gotta all right, we gotta backtrack Dave's story. We can't just go straight into the end of it, basically. We gotta give everybody a chance to get to know him a little bit,
No.
right? So moves here at 5, right? Where'd you go to school? What all did you play? What'd you do? What was kind of what led you into the direction of obviously, wanting to be around sports? Obviously, that's what we do this for. Like, what was your kind of journey into all the way up through college?
So I was a 4-sport athlete until I was about 15 years old. I was in the Derby School District. I played baseball, football, did the Fat Man relays, and was a thrower in the track area. And I tried to play basketball, but I never grew over like 5'9", and I'm the shortest male in my family. But anyways, growing up, my dad was a big baseball guy. Baseball was the first love that I fell in love with, and so I wanted to continue that. I tried to play that in high school, but my football skill set was a little more prevalent when I figured out how to long snap. So then I had a choice between culinary school or college football, and I chose college football. I went to Pitt State, and during all of that good stuff, I separated both shoulders at the same time.
You a big Pitt State guy over there?
Yeah, I'm Pitt State grad, man.
Oh.
That's 2011. Brother was on the team, and he almost started a brawl on national television. It was the coolest, most proudest moment of our family.
Hey,
The year after I left, they went. So,
Yep.
but I'm going to show some age here. That was in 2005.
Is Josh older?
I
than
was
you?
5 years old.
But 2 years?
So
The
Josh,
time you moved.
Yeah.
Josh is 4. Josh is 4 years older than me.
So how old is he?
35.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I know he's close to age of me. I gotcha. Okay.
So
Sorry. So Pitt. I'm a big Pitt State guy, so I'm very interested in your story now. It's a
Oh.
lot more interesting.
yeah, I gotcha. My
Fuck.
entire dad's side of the family is from the Pittsburgh, Mulberry, Frontenac area. My cousins are current coaches at Frontenac and Pittsburgh Colgan. One of them is a 5-time state champion for softball, volleyball, basketball, one of those things. The other one is still chasing the dream on that side. But I was in the chiropractic program. What caused me to leave, not only on the shoulder separations, but Pitt State shut down the chiropractic program. So I transferred to WSU where they had like the DOPS program. I jumped into that and ended up graduating in 2008 with a triple major, business management, sociology, psychology, in efforts to go to Cleveland Chiropractic in Kansas City. This is where it gets fun. I applied for the grant. I made $4 more than what the grant allowed. So they said, sorry, goodbye, $300,000, which is how much it costs to go to chiropractic school. So I said, all right, well, I am done, and jumped into operations and strategic planning. Back to the sports side of things. I played slow pitch softball for 20 years, traveled the country, did some fun things there. I was a pitcher and all of that good stuff. But in my corporate career, I spent 15 years in the director level stuff and managerial side of strategic planning, and then Sheldon comes into play when we're traveling, talking about all the things that he had. Sheldon is I would call him my big idea guy, and then I have to figure out how to make it work. So in 2020, after COVID, I jumped ship, and here we are 5 years later, with a bunch of stuff that we do.
Yeah. That's a short summary, I would say. We obviously got acquainted playing, but he came in with Zach, who was an intern of mine back then. And then we just kind of, just practiced and went and hung out and did all kinds of different things. And softball was fun for me. I was not diehard like those dudes were. Like, they were all about it. I just liked hitting bombs and hanging out. Like that was kind of my thing.
You
But
actually broke more bats than I did of my bats.
yeah, I did break a couple bats, but it was fun. Like I enjoyed doing that. But that was those guys, man. People take that way too seriously. Like I don't know what it is
I
about
was
adult
I
softball, but
was gonna
like, dude, those
ask.
dudes age
I was
over
gonna
nothing.
ask. I was gonna want to focus on your softball career here. Were you one of those guys who would wear their jersey everywhere?
No,
Oh, thank goodness.
only when it meant business.
I remember so the gym I worked out in college, me and my buddy, and there would be these softball guys who'd come into the gym with their team
Working
jersey
out with
on.
it on?
Oh yeah, they're
Oh,
working out
Lord.
with and they're doing their exercise and just talking shop on softball so loudly. I'm just like, if I have my earbuds on, I can hear you. I just don't.
Steroids. That's basically what that boils down to.
No, they were not on
Oh,
steroids. But
really? Fair enough. No, our team was actually pretty chill. Like we had a lot of good guys and still guys that we hang out with, I think, and talk to still that are pretty level headed. But good lord, we played some people that I was just like, dude, you got to go home to your family, dog. Like,
you get your
chill out.
life threatened.
Yeah, like, dude, like I am not throwing fists over a softball game. Like it just isn't gonna happen. So, but
Middle's open though.
no, dude, they're nuts. But yeah, so then that kind of, that let us in. That was at the old facility, like he said. And then obviously we moved to the new facility. We get over there. Dave was working out over there, and we just kind of were always just brainstorming because he was obviously working and doing different things, not really in the same field at that point in time. And, I was just like, man, like, with your spare time and when you have extra time, like we should dive into this a little bit because I think you would be successful at it. Like it's going to take some work, but you got to do some things. And so, kind of walk through that timeline. Obviously, it was the second facility there before we come to this facility, and kind of walk through, some of the origin stories of some of the stuff that you really, kind of dove into right when you started and, some of the pieces that we started to put together from there. Cause there's certain pieces about Dave that he does in the operation that I don't want to ever do. And that's why it fits really well having him here and, just doing some of the stuff that just is different than the way that my eyes kind of can see it. So walk through some of that stuff.
So it all started off with Sheldon leaving a packet of information in my car and after a tournament and just saying, "Hey, check this out. Tell me what your thoughts are." And I avoided it for like 3 years, to be completely honest. And then in 2020, some things were mixing up with COVID and the company I was working for. And he sent me a text out of nowhere that was like, "When you're ready to change the world, let me know." And at that time, I'm sitting there I still worked out at the old facility, and we sat down and talked about it. And I said, "All right, I'll give it a shot." And we sat. In our conversation, it was more about how the mission could fit what would be standardized, what would later be standardized across the entire board of all the things that we do. Number one, I had to learn. Had to learn how to step out of the operations role and put my face on a camera in front of a camera and talk to people. Whereas, being at the positions that I had been in, there was always somebody else that could do that. And then we started building standard processes that we still use and we've critiqued here and there to make sure that everything was sustainable for growth. So when I came in, there was Parisi, the league, and two baseball teams, the Park City Rangers and the Valley Center Mud Daubers. We streamlined everything and started to figure things out. I forget what my first conversation was, but Sheldon was like, "You're going to hear a ton of no's. Just start calling people." And of course, after the first 10 no's, I'm like, "Nope." So I avoided it. And he continued to push me to grow that side of it. Come to find out, it's actually something I really enjoy, building those relationships and talking to businesses and getting to know their side of the why and what we can do for them in the community. Because I deep down, it's a big thing for that I'm passionate about is helping young men grow into better humans. And if they were to take the next step into their baseball career or anywhere, some places are just gonna be like, "Hey, here's your community, go be a part of it. Good luck." Like, "Hey, high five. Let's truly just let's show them how to do that and give them an avenue to to really experience that. So, and that was part of the mission, and that's what I really latched onto. I just had to become a believer in that mission.
For sure. Yeah. It was, in the beginning, obviously, with most of the things that I've ever done, and just kind of making it up as I go and trying to figure it all out. And, a lot of times it's just like, we'll try this, see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And we just, kind of kept plugging along. And, in the beginning, I think any time you're going to, it's a struggle because it's something new, right? And when things are new, it just takes a little bit of time to piece things together. And as we kind of went along, it went from those two teams into what was the
Or
first one we started? I think it was the
the
Moose.
mood.
So we had the Moose, and then it went to the Walnuts, and then Mulvane.
Well, the
I
moves
guess
and
we
the,
already had three teams because the Heat would already been there too,
that was 2021.
but that would have gotten taken over.
That
I
was
guess.
that was the
Yeah.
end of 2021. So in the beginning of 2021, we created the moves to have a even number of teams. And then at the end of the year, Wellington came into play.
It went Moose, then it went Wellington, then it
Then
was El Dorado, then it
the
was Mulvane.
Yeah, the fun part of
Just a lot of
it
moving
is we
parts.
wanted to we wanted to move the moose to a different place. We built out a proposal and sent it to two cities just asking for permission to bring them there, and all of a sudden there we get accepted somewhere, and then the other one, hey, let's talk about baseball. And then El Dorado came about. So yeah, and furthermore, the Summer Ball Showdown was designed and built. I remember spending like 3 or 4 days hand drawing the logo, asking Sheldon if this was cool enough. Was this? What do you think about this? Whoa, let me have that digitized and all that good stuff. Reformatting some things to set our brand image up and bringing along some connections that I made when I played slow pitch for uniforms and just trying to elevate everything into the Premier League that we have now.
Yeah. So let's talk about like Summer Ball Showdown a little bit because obviously that's like your big hat that you wear. Not that you don't do all the other things in all the other places too, but you're like the figurehead for Summer Ball Showdown and as the tournament director for the Summer Ball Showdown. Summer Ball Showdown's a big thing, and for the first time people kind of looking into this or hearing us talk about it, you're going to hear a lot about it because it's our it's a national tournament that brings in teams from all across the country to come and play, which is a really cool concept. For people that are local to us, we've had another tournament here in town that has been around for a really long time, and it's kind of on the back end of its glory, if you will, and moved different directions, done different things, which we'll have, I'm sure, a whole pod on that at some point in time. But it's something that the tournament was kind of made out of the idea, the concept, right? So like when I sat down and like really started to put all of these puzzle pieces together of, what's the future of our teams look like? What's the future of the league look like? How do we go about systemizing all of this stuff to where it is? That's kind of where Summer Ball Showdown came, or the idea came in my head of it. And so then we started, bouncing around, and Dave wasn't even in the picture when the concept actually kind of came about. I was just literally shooting in the dark with ideas. And at the beginning, I was just like, man, I don't know if this is doable, and then Dave kind of came on and helped kind of put some of those first pieces in place. And it was like, okay, like I feel more confident about this. Like maybe we can, like let's keep working on it. And then COVID happened at that point in time. And which was a blessing in disguise for most of our stuff because it allowed us a summer to like really just bunker down and like figure out all the things because I don't know about, the common person has absolutely no idea what it takes to run those things. Like absolutely no idea. And it is craziness. And it's a full year thing and there's just a lot that goes into it. But so let's talk about that a little bit. As your role as the tournament director, what does that mean to you? What are the things that over the last, because this tournament's been around for 5 years now, which is pretty cool. So we're in it. Like we have footing. We have, teams that have been with us for 5+ years going into our 6th year, right? Like there is a lot of buzz and cool things that are happening. And I think this is going to be something that continues to grow over the next 10 years. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like what was the beginning like in that? and what were some of the lessons and some of the stuff that you've learned along the way, and what do people have to kind of look forward to that's going to come of that as well too.
So SBS is I like to say it's where I'm most passionate about, mainly because of the conversations that were had with the other tournament. I told them that I was coming, and they said, "Hey, man, you're just going to be another MAYB tournament, and you'll be gone in a year." And that lit a fire in me. As a non-baseball guy, I mean, I played football, and I don't have the cool connections that most baseball guys do. So that was a huge hurdle for me to just start building out, conversations and whatnot, and finally, we hit Facebook, we hit Instagram. I mean, Shell, there were days where we just hunted teams on social medias, just to create a connection and whatnot. And when we finally got teams on the phone and whatnot, and had to be, put my sales pants on to make sure that they could come out, we came up with the idea that we wanted to feed the teams that come in from out of state for free. And that gave us the opportunity to create some cool partnerships. Like we've had Pizza Ranch, Chick-fil-A, Fuzzy's Tacos, all the local places around here, El Mexico Cafe, Outback Steakhouse. I mean, we've done everything we can to continue those partnerships and grow it. And that was the cool part about our tournament, and where we wanted it to go, being affordable, giving the most visibility as possible, and making a great competition and about the community. I mean, I don't think we would have our tournament where it's at without the community that we have been able to build up and grow in Goddard.
Totally. What
But
what are the things that you've learned, like, while running it, you know what I mean? Like, being in the mix with the coaches, being in the mix with all the players, right? The community, what was your kind of perception, right? Like, going into it in the beginning, like year 1, compared to, like, what it is now, and kinda that portion of that.
honestly, it was intimidating in the beginning. With the ideas that we had, it was very tough to just put them on paper, or I guess it was easy to put them on paper, but hard to turn it into conversations. You're blindly walking in and talking to people. You're blindly reaching out to others, and we're talking. That's like the very beginning of the transition from being in a corporation to doing our own thing and having to learn that. You know, um, it wasn't an easy task to just walk in there and just be like, "Hey, we have this idea. You want to help? How can I create those conversations? How do I invest in a business that I have no idea about?" So once I figured all that stuff out, it was pretty easy to go in and start a conversation and really build on those pillars. But now, I walk in there and they're like giving hugs, high fives, like, "Yo, when am I getting my new hat?" Or what are we thinking here? What can we build out, and can we do more? So putting our words out there and then following through has been a big thing for us. I mean, if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it, and that has changed the game for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Been a lot of fun. When, like I said, when that idea kind of popped in my head, and I, for me, in the beginning of that whole deal, it was just baseball, right? Like, and then that has crowned into community, and we always, even in our early conversations, I think when we were trying to plan things out, it was community was always a big part of it. Like, it wasn't like we weren't going to have that involvement, but I've just learned so much about the community in that process, and trying to find different things that not only can we service baseball fans, right, the people that actually enjoy watching baseball, college high level baseball, but then also the families that don't have as much interest in that, but just still want to get out and support the community in a different event that's going on. And it kind of boils into being selfless, and trying to do things for other people and giving back, and all of those things. And for us, it's been really cool. It's been fun to meet a lot of the people that we've had involved out there, and helping different people have different experiences. Player experiences are obviously really cool. The people that come from all different parts of the country, they come to that tournament, and then they're, eating meals together and getting to hang out and just network and, see different things happen. And, we have people that hadn't seen each other in a long time reconnect,
Yeah,
stuff like that. And, we have just it's a very unique experience that these players, and I also think that's why we have people come back every year, is because it is such a cool experience that the baseball is still important. Don't get me wrong, everybody there wants to win, but there's a lot of teams that come back that, they've never won. They've never even made it past Friday, but they continue to come back because how they're treated, right? The experience that their players get, getting to know the staff, because we have a lot of repeat staff as well too, and people that come and help out. And so it's just it's a community driven event that I think is, really making an impact on a lot of different levels. And as it always boils down for me, it's a lot of fun. So it's been enjoyable. But yeah, any questions, Sean? You got anything over there? You're deep in thought. I haven't heard you speak in a while.
Well, you're just hogging up all the air.
Oh, okay.
I've wanted to chime in, but
Yeah.
it's just But I you've been through obviously a life spanning couple decades. I won't say how many. But you've been through a lot of change, right? So you go, you go through high school, and you end up choosing between, culinary school or college football. You choose college football, then then you go back to WSU, back on Wichita. Then it's like, well, I think I was going to go to chiropractic school. That didn't happen. Then you go into director operations business roles for bigger companies, trying to manage people, manage efficiency. And then, you're playing softball. And then, of course, you end up here. As you kind of look back at all these changes, I guess my question to you would be, what is, because I think there's probably some times where, you didn't know what was next. But through all these changes, what has kind of helped you adapt to each one? First of all, adapt to each one. And then second of all, how have you been able to keep like important relationships in your life throughout that time?
Okay. First and foremost, the only thing that has been consistent in my life is my faith. And putting a lot of that into prayer and asking for guidance and stuff like that. The other thing that's super consistent in life is change. So being open minded, and understanding to be able to grow. Learning is one of my favorite things. Like I will always believe that if you're not learning, you're dead. So being able to figure out new things. I mean, for right now, I'm still learning how to do this, and that kind of thing is cool. It lights a fire in me to do something new and different and build it out so it can be successful. But the change side of things, I can't say it's always been easy, but being adaptable, willing to learn, willing to listen, and do some things that I've never done before has been the primary focus on all of that. And I mean, I had to learn, I don't know, everything other than how to build a standard operating procedure and to make it work. I had to relearn how to connect with the community and all of that stuff. Hats off to Sheldon for sticking by and trying to push me to get out of that shell that I was in for 15 years. But I wouldn't. That's something that I don't want to see change. I mean, I love getting out and being involved and doing stuff.
Awesome.
Could you talk a little bit about the struggles or adversity that you faced and what you've learned, and how you can pass that along to athletes that come and play not only for the leagues but in the summer ball showdown? Just kind of go over just like a little bit about what your relationship is with those athletes.
So when players come in, I'm probably one of the most consistent people that you'll find in El Dorado, Mulvane, obviously at the Summer Ball Showdown with Sheldon. We basically fly around by the seat of our pants where we're needed. Being in those communities and building out the the people that we have within those communities at each place is super cool. But impacting the players, they pretty much meet me. What would you say? One time, maybe two, before they get here. I mean, I don't recruit. I don't do any of that stuff for the league on that side of it. I basically connect the community to our baseball, and provide an experience at the ballpark with the people that I come in contact with, and that's also what we've taken to the summer ball showdown. I mean, I talk to the coaches, and I may see a couple players here and there, but my interactions are very minimal unless I'm at a specific ballpark where the players get to know me.
I think it's also kind of a behind the scenes thing that you get to um, help provide them with that environment that they don't, you know, get to have at college, right? I mean, a lot of these guys, I love that they come out and play summer ball, right? Because I mean, I think we all know, and we can get into this more when we get to like KCLB and stuff. But a lot of these guys may go back and not play, right, at their
Right.
schools. They're doing all they can to play, but they also might go back and not play, or they end up in the transfer portal, whatever might happen. So for you to provide a place where, you know, nobody actually knows them until maybe the end of the summer when they've got to know them, right? But then like there's still people in the crowd at most of these places, right? There's banners up for like sponsorships and stuff, which is cool. And then like the All-Star event this year was freaking awesome, right? And they get to have those experiences and be part of that. So yeah, you may not actually get in there and be, side by side,
He's not. Yeah,
hugging the players
he's
and,
not in
and
the
stuff like that.
dugout.
But right,
Yeah.
but if somebody's gonna ask a coach or somebody's gonna ask, Sheldon or whatever, walking around like, who's a resource for this, who's a resource for that, who helped provide this? The answer pretty much always goes back to Dave. And then, if they need something provided for them, that's the way. So like, I think, yeah, I mean, you don't get maybe FaceTime with the players, but you definitely provide that experience for them, which is super,
Yeah,
super valuable.
I would draw it up. A simple way of drawing it up would be like every computer has an operating system, and Dave is kind of part of that operating system, right? Like you don't look at the code when you're on your computer typically, unless you're a nerd like Dave. But like you would rather, you use the systems that are on the computer, right? So that's the way that operates. Like Dave is behind the scenes in that regard, and but there's a lot of things that are people get to take advantage of because of all of the off-season work, and that's the system, right? Like that's the stuff on the backside that is able to provide all of those different things that you see out there on all of the socials and all that stuff, and just all the behind the scenes work, which is that's the part that as we get into the episodes where we dive into those a little bit more, like we're gonna pull back the curtain a little bit and like kind of show some people the behind the scenes and kind of really get into some of that stuff when we get on those, because we got cool stuff, like we got all kinds of cool things that are happening and fun things that are going on behind the scenes that we just don't typically, or I don't know, they're not great conversation pieces, and unless you're trying to talk about them, but
I
so
just
that's
don't. I just don't want to open the door to everything yet. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many things.
You know what I think we should actually do for the rest of this time is stop asking him questions and just give him compliments the whole time.
Oh man,
There
thank
go.
you.
Dave, your eyes.
Oh dang.
Your
Yeah.
eyes
Uh,
are never gonna have me with you. Go ahead.
One of the things that I find really interesting about you is the fact that you were at a pretty high level as a director within an organization, which, I've definitely seen the challenges that it takes to earn that title, earn those responsibilities. Could you talk a little bit about, because you mentioned that it took you a while to kind of come around and want to do this. What was kind of like the catalyst of taking that leap of faith and leaving a corporate setup, corporate job? What was that kind of like? What was that transition like? And, what was your experience? And if you had to give any advice to anybody that else is kind of stuck in a job that they might not like, what would you say to them?
So I guess first and foremost, I never disliked the jobs that I had. The challenges are, you're making money for somebody else, and you have to go through all the checks and balances to make sure all of that works in their favor. And then you sacrifice your time, effort, and energy for a company, and the true reason is obviously a paycheck, and for me, I was all doing all of those things, but being used and abused for my skill set, and that is process improvement, being able to build a business plan that was successful for the business, and still turn more dollars for whatever business it was. If you have any entrepreneurial spirit and feel like you can do it yourself, or you have great friends like Sheldon, um who can put their faith in you and then help you grow, while also growing together. Those things were the most important things, and what helped me make the jump was COVID. I mean, I was working for a trucking company out of Colorado, and COVID stuff happened. We started. They said that we had lost millions of dollars, and from my seat, no. And it turned into a big battle, and then some things were later found out that I won't disclose. I mean, I'm not out here trying to crap on somebody, but it just didn't work out. And Sheldon had been a part of my life for, I don't know, what would you say, two different positions, maybe three, that I kept going back into the corporate side of things. And because what I think I met you when I worked at Coca-Cola, and then I crafted.
It was like two or three, two for sure. I think it was two different trucking companies.
Well, I was at Kroger at one
Oh yeah,
point.
that
Yeah,
one.
I was
Yeah,
at I was at
yeah.
Kroger Dillon's, uh, that kind of thing, and then I moved to Kansas City for a few years. Then I moved back and was on held the director of operations seat for the trucking company. And with COVID there, really put the mindset in there that, maybe I can do this. I've always thought, in the chiropractic world, I wanted to own my own practice, or something along those lines, and how all of that would work. So I just, asked God and took the leap, and then, we're actively growing, even right now with what we're doing here. I can't say I'd ever go back unless I absolutely had to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, in the beginning there, it just boils down to, like, we were just kinda figuring it out, like, that's the easiest way to explain it. But talk about, like, kind of, because I think we'll have some people, obviously, we're gonna, talk to college athletes and things like that, so I think this will resonate with them, but, um, like, walk through, like what he was saying, like, you're established in these roles, obviously, you understand those roles, or you wouldn't be in the positions that you were in, and, essentially, when you come over into something like this, it's a new there's similarities, but it's a whole new thing, right? Because the structure is completely different, and how you go about getting the momentum started with the stuff that you're doing over here, like, talk about those struggles, talk about, kind of that first year and a half, 2 years of, like, making that jump, because I think that's something that a lot of people, that might listen to this, whether it's just be, stuck or crossroads or whatever you want to call it, like, looking into those different types of things, like, what leads you along in that? And then, what were some of those struggles? How did you get through those things? That type of stuff.
Honestly, the first part of that is it's I'm going to throw it back on you, because I would have just gotten frustrated to the point of, man, this isn't for me, if I didn't have you trying to help me understand that stuff, for every reason, for who I am or what I've become, or the passions that I've been able to find, um with doing this job. The encouragement, hey, you got this, you can keep working through this, the efforts that you gave, because we've sat across this table and yelled at each other, like, and just trying to grow things out. When you decide to bet on yourself, you have to believe in yourself. And I was in those high level roles, I believed in everything that I could do, because the systems and stuff that I was working in were already built, but I could make them better. And that's what allowed me to keep those jobs. But here we had to build it from the ground up, and force ourselves into a different direction each time there was a roadblock. And that's the biggest part. If you're a college athlete, you one day you're going to decide you're done, or one day you get the greatest opportunity to go to the next level. All of that is so hard. And then it reels way back here, where even in your personal life or professional life with work, no matter how hard you try, if you don't believe in yourself, it's just not going to happen, and in the time frame that you think it needs to happen. So you got to invest in yourself. You got to grow. You got to be able to figure out things and be willing to put in that work. I mean, that's a big, conversation piece in itself. If you don't put in the work, it's not, I mean, you're not going to do anything. So Sheldon invested in me, helped me understand what I needed to do. And then I kind of ran with it, and then it just continues to grow, and it gets better. I mean, it really has gotten better, and it's actually great.
Yeah, I mean, you earn that, in that aspect, right? Like that, we talked the other day about like sacrifice and that type of stuff. And Dave's not lying. Like, dude, there's been plenty of conversations where Dave like don't want to do stuff. Like he doesn't want to do it. And I think everybody goes through that, right? Everybody goes through that time where it's like, I'm not comfortable doing this. Like, I don't want to go talk to this person. I don't want to make this phone call. I don't want to reach out here, whatever. Like there's a million different things. And it's like, no, you're going to. Like, if you're gonna be in the field of, like, this, like, where you're working towards these things, like, it's not a choice, you have to. Like, and the sooner that you get out of your own way, the quicker you're gonna get to the results that you're trying to say that you're trying to, get, right? And that's a big piece, and it's something that you have done, and, so I commend you on that effort because most people don't, right? Like there's a lot of people out there that just will not do it. They become, they get in their own head, they get too scared, they're whatever the case may be, right? And that's kind of the big thing is, you know, being able to take that leap of faith and make that step and go put yourselves into those weird situations and just like, because everything that you say that you want is on the other side of struggle. It's on the other side of, the anxiety and all the stuff. Like it, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You just got to be willing to put the work in and pay the price. So yeah, and you're doing that, and that's why I think that we've got a lot of momentum in a lot of areas, and it allows us to, because I'm only one person, we're all always one, but we got so many dang things going on. It's like good night, like we run out of time in the day, and like we just have all kinds of stuff happening, which is awesome. Like it's really cool. And for a while there, it was just like I was just, hey, we're doing a new team. Hey, we're doing a new team. Hey, we're doing a new team. And Dave's like, dude, I'm about to cut this dude's like phone off because I'm just like going. And he's like, no, like why are we doing this? And I'm like, because we need to, like, we want to put the footing out there. Like we want to figure it out. And like, don't get me wrong, there's a cap like on all things. Like we can't go too crazy, but he's been through that thick and thin in that aspect. And, so there's been a lot of pieces growing that way. So I know I was about to smack your computer a second ago because that thing was flying on it. I
Got
didn't
him.
want to. So great. So, so like going through those, what's, kind of leading in, towards, the growth aspect, right? So like, let's talk about, as all this stuff, you kind of go through the struggles, you kind of, you get the leg work kind of figured out, right? I think we're always changing that and it's growing all the time, but, talk through the move over here, talk through, cause we, those were the big
move over
pieces,
here.
right? Like that's where we kind of hit the gas pedal. Like we did all these things in the old facility, and then we hit the gas pedal to come over to this facility. So walk us through your version of that experience because that's probably different than mine. So go
Oh
ahead.
my god, the move. All right, so we had like a 5-year plan that we had put together. By year 5, we had discussed finding a different place, and then a renewal at the old facility was in progress, and it just came back at an astronomical amount. And Sheldon was just like, hey, we need to look for some places. So we started looking for places. I think we toured a couple places, then this popped up, and I sent him a screenshot, and then all of a sudden here we are. Hey Dave, we close, we're going to get early access, we're moving. What? We're moving. Okay. What else? Well, we need to find turf. I need you to source some turf. We're going to move everything over here. So we went from a 4,500 square foot facility to a 16,000 square foot facility. It's 16, right? Or 17, one of those.
I think it's 17.
I measured out myself.
Oh, okay.
That's why you were walking up and down the turf the other day.
The paces.
So in square feet.
So here we are sitting at the old office like, hey, how are we going to map this out? I'm literally using a graphic design software to map out how we want to do batting cages, how we want to do turf, how much square footage we need, those kind of things. Reaching out, looking for prices, trying to keep it under wraps, and all of a sudden we're moving. Like it's boom, time to go. So I guess that whole process was very interesting because my body pretty much died on me a few times. Like I couldn't grip anything. I couldn't pick up a cup. Just trying to figure it all out, not having the right tools. Like we had to get a telehandler to move the turf because it was so heavy. It came with what we call turf turds. It came with the rubber pellets in it. And everything like that, mapping it out, trying to get it to be straight. And then one day we were like, oh man, we should probably cut this down so it looks right. And of course I used to, what was it? The DeWalt, was I using
Skill saw?
the DeWalt skill saw with a laser for the entire length.
Obviously,
of it.
OSHA needs to be muted, but don't let them onto the cast.
We're
going to bring them on.
we spent our first winter in a tarp surrounded room
my
with space
goodness.
heaters.
That was underneath the mez down there. Like we literally tarped up a square, put this desk in there, and we had 2 heaters underneath the desk, 2 tower heaters
running off
propane.
extension cords.
And we're just sitting in there trying to work every day. That was brutal, but
and then
grind is real.
I'm really bummed I missed all that.
Yeah, you weren't here yet.
I'm really bummed I missed all that. It just would have been.
Just imagine you have big gloves on your hands and you have to take them off to type onto your computer and then put it back on. Crazy.
During that time, we were discussing the plan for this area, and actually, I didn't realize it was going to be this big until it was built. I'm thankful that we went this route mainly because the parent area is large enough to host like birthday parties. That was later figured out cool. We have this space. This was actually the same size as our old office, except for all the crap that's in our IT area was around the entire room. And then we have a space to, have coaches and or friends over and all of that good stuff. But yeah, when I had to figure out how to do drywall,
yeah, we finished all this, which was a journey in itself. So that was fun. Yeah, no, we got everything that we need up here now. It's not perfect, so don't look too closely. But painting and mudding and taping are not in our job descriptions, so we just figured it out along the way.
That's why there's texture.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of it.
Yeah. But then
there is.
growing the rest of this space has been fun. What was a couple years ago I came in and there was 2.5 inches of snow on the
That was year
turf.
1. Yeah, that was year 1. I was actually
You're in Philly.
No, we were at Table Rock. We went down there, Ashley's friend, for something. But
was that? I thought it was.
I remember that vividly because I had to cancel stuff. And you were like, "Yeah, there's snow inside," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "How did that happen?" And he came in and shot videos. I have them on my phone. There's just lines of snow where it came in. But that was like, we had some major storms at that point in time. So,
and then we mopped the roof.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, just trying to fix things that needed to be fixed. When we walked into this building, the only thing that worked were the lights,
and the only thing that was here was concrete.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get the opportunity to come in and check it out, definitely do, because it's been a massive project and a lot of cool things that have happened, and just all a bunch of random little things here and there, but kind of all came together the right way, and it's a pretty fun place now. So, but all right, well, any other questions?
Yeah, so you wear a lot of hats. We've spoken about this, so we got let's try to mesh them all out real quick.
Okay.
Sheldon has always only put them in operations.
So let's just say business operations.
Yes.
Then we have IT guy, maintenance.
Producer.
Producer now. Yeah, that's right.
that's the big
Producer
one.
now. And then
Tournament director.
tournament director, security,
Yeah.
grip,
Graphics,
graphics,
Yeah,
marketing,
graphic, marketing,
Yeah, uniforms.
apparel.
apparel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some more hats. I just had another one on my head.
And construction, if you want to throw it
Well,
in.
right,
a
like-
little bit of HVAC and electricity in there too.
Electrician.
Yeah, a bit of HVAC.
plumber.
This morning,
Plumber.
Yeah,
And then
insulation.
painter as well.
I did most of it.
he did most of the painting because
But
of
you
the
did
first
this-
time.
when we got that
I hate
leg
painting,
press.
by the way.
Oh, I hate
so
painting
nobody
too.
call me to paint.
It's my least favorite.
Logan, who worked for us
Yeah,
here for
yeah.
a little bit, he paints on the weekends because he gets paid cash to do it. What do you think he gets paid for a weekend of it?
$1,200.
What?
He makes over $1,000 a week just
Rogan?
painting. Yeah,
Wow.
I learned that last week when I was at Scout's soccer game. I was like,
the
what?
fact that
What?
you asked me that in that context, I just knew it was a lot. So I
it was
like,
a ton.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
just like,
No,
I kind
no,
of started thinking, and I was like, God, but I hate painting.
painting's terrible. I hate
Painting
it.
sucks.
But
Period.
anyway, so
Hey,
I'd
I
say-
clicked that. Painting sucks.
say, what is your favorite hat to wear? I think we can come up with more of them, but
My favorite
Great
hat.
question.
your favorite hat to wear?
Man, I can't say that I have a favorite.
Well, you have to. Gotta
Yeah,
be
you
okay.
have to.
I
You gotta
have
pick
to.
one.
Yeah,
I have
you
my,
can't be
my
that guy.
favorite
Yeah.
hat to wear. Probably the outreach side of things.
Wow.
So that means he
connecting-
hates all his other hats.
Connecting with the community. I think that would be my favorite hat.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Well, and there's a lot to be said about
Well,
that
it's-
too, because Dave didn't want to do
Yeah.
that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like Dave in the beginning, right? So long time ago now it is. But, that was the biggest hurdle for him was making those calls, reaching out to people, just the whole piece of all of that, was the biggest hurdle. And I do not think that you are the only person out there that struggles with that, right? I think, especially in business, that is the number one thing. How many times have we heard people that come in when they talk about the stuff that we do coaching wise? They're too afraid to talk to people. They're too afraid to talk to the parents. They're, oh, well, I don't want to bug people, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude,
It always and what it always comes down to is confidence in yourself. Because
100%.
if you believe in what you're selling, you shouldn't have any issue.
Yeah. And here's the reality check. You're always selling stuff. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Which is another conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into that
For
one.
sure.
But yeah, I think everybody struggles with that fact. It's like, well, I don't, we're all Midwest nice, right? Like we don't want to bug people essentially. But so we put it on that. But turns out the process of making those relationships with people after you bug them, is pretty special, even when there is business involved. So
Mhm.
Sure.
and
like
you've
the-
obviously adapted to that.
That's like the coolest part of sales is when you walk into a building and they hate you that first time, and then third or fourth time you show up, they're like, "Oh my god, it's you! You're
Why
my
didn't you
dog."
bring the donuts this
Yeah.
time?
Exactly.
Oh, what's up, man? And then they start to actually have a little bit of a relationship with you. Yes, makes a big difference. But I think that's really cool. I think that's an awesome piece, and definitely something that hopefully somebody hears and gets motivated from, because whoever it is, whatever they're doing, they can do it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. And there's just a lot of rewarding things that come from stepping out of your comfort zone, and no matter what the task might be of trying to do things. So I think that's cool. But trying to think if I have any other questions. I don't know if you got any other ones. Drew, you got any other? Drew knows Dave.
Drew knows Dave.
Yeah,
My grandpa's name. R.I.P.
fair enough. R.I.P. to
Dave. My
Dave.
grandpa, not
Dave.
our Dave.
Grandpa
yeah,
Dave.
not our Dave. Yeah. All right. Well, anything you want to leave us with? Anything, that you want to tell anyone, getting to know you and kind of your roles, and
Give me a quality sign off.
yeah, something that you want to impact.
Is that rolling the dice?
I mean, this is more like flying by the seat of my pants here, but I think for anyone listening, it's cool to bet on yourself. It's cool to surround yourself with great people and quality people. It's not always quantity; it's going to be the quality of person to help build you up. And that's what I have in this room, and that's what I've had for the last 5 years. It's been an honor to be a part of all of it, and I'm excited to watch it move.
What?
He just said thank
Oh,
you.
you didn't talk in the mic. No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun journey, man. We say it all the time, super cliche, but like it feels like we're just getting started. In this venture, we really are just getting started. I think we're going to impact a lot of people and do some fun stuff with it. And more skill sets are gonna grow. We're gonna be able to, get out in the community and do even more with this. And for us, I think we said this maybe on the first one that we did, but like for us, this isn't about like us going viral and being cool and like all of that stuff.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
I mean, the only thing I want to go viral is the Summer Ball Showdown.
yeah. I mean, we just want, we want to be there for our community and actually do something for the community, and if we do enough for enough people, we know that we're going to be okay. And that's kind of the whole motto. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing everything and kind of letting people in and, just running through some different pieces of your life and your timeline and how it all is kind of shaped up and been a part of that big, kind of growth factor of, all of the different organizations and the umbrella of things that we do here. And it's going to be a lot of fun here in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else with closing sign-offs? I mean, I do need to transition this over to Sean. Cramp free right now.
I am cramp free. That was terrible.
I
The
was like,
whole
wow.
whole
He was-
hamstring.
he
The
looked
whole
like he was-
hamstring.
He's like locked up.
Yeah,
I had to go in there
yeah.
and just like slowly stretch it out and then start chugging water. I don't know if that helps. but
You drinking water?
yeah.
Are you okay? Since when do you drink water?
Well, I drink water all the time. You just don't see it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't like show weakness.
You don't want to show the weakness.
Yeah.
I gotcha. All right. Well, Sean, will you lead us in a closing prayer, please?
What you got there, Sheldon?
I'm reading it. Go do your thing.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read this yet today. So
All right. Lord, thank you once again. This is just a special thing we get to do together and honestly just get to rehash memories, rehash relationships, and really appreciate all you've done for us and put us into this position to do. Thank you for hopefully people getting to know more about Dave and his journey and just anything that they can take away to impact their lives. And once again, Lord, I just pray that as we go through this, that your name be glorified overall. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
thank you, brothers.
That's it for Kansas Sports HQ episode
4.
4. I didn't even start that off right. So we'll see you guys next time.